Parliament members. To discuss this in more details over the phone, we have Dr. Hassan Waguih, Professor of Political Science. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Doctor. So first of all, talking about the speech delivered by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, especially when it comes to different points focusing on the national cooperation. We have, of course, the encompassing politics, foreign affairs, economic reform, social protection, and urban development.
Oh, yes, on the occasion of this new term, yeah, the president confirmed the basic maxims for foreign policy and for international relations orientation, of course. And he mentioned and he stressed several things which is very important as maxims for the Egyptian foreign policy to support the peace and the stability, to confirm the principle of respecting international law and human international law. Also, he emphasized very much the concern for the economic dimensions of the international relations. These are some of the maxims he mentioned. And in addition to that, yes, he also made something very important about the independence of the Egyptian decision-making process, along with very deep concern with the Arabic domain. Egypt is concerned with all Arab relations because this is a vital field and vital domain for its foreign policy, along with other domains.
So how do you see Egypt's future foreign policy in the upcoming period?
Yes, when it comes to the future, of course, there is a very important concern for Egyptian foreign policy to encourage investments, of course, and to enhance the economic situation in Egypt, enhancing the democratic situation, and changing a lot of things that needs to be changed for such a point, which is very important. Democracy is not an instant coffee, so we have to work on it, and we have to be creative about it to move forward in that direction. Also, when it comes to the citizenship and the rights of citizens, this is a concern that should be treated. Also, talking about, of course, the holistic developmental processes. When it comes to future points, as you mentioned, of course, there are several circles of international effort that must be exerted in that direction.
Well, of course, the national dialogue proved to be very successful and achieved a lot during the past period. Well, how do you see the importance of the national dialogue, especially during the upcoming period, of course, including also the role of the youth?
Yes, when it comes to this dimension, yes, we mentioned something about the Arabic domain, but let me say that Egypt is very concerned, and the dialogue also revolves within these circles, 6 circles. Egypt is concerned about the Arab circle, of course, the African circle, and the Islamic circle. And by the way, these 3 domains or 3 circles were of interest during Nasser era. But during these days and during the era of President Fattah, he added to that, he's very concerned about these 3 circles because they are constants of Egyptian foreign policy. But we added also Asian circles, cooperating with Asian continent, especially China and emerging Asian power. Also, we have lately signed a very important declaration with another important circle, which is the European Med Partnership. Egypt and Europe signed a strategic declaration, with six presidents came to Cairo, which tells you about how Egypt is concerned about developing this Euro-Med circle, because we are sharing the same sea. They are in the north and we are the south of that Mediterranean Sea. And there is a very good historic relation we must enhance, and we must all look for the future with hope and much more strategic cooperation.
Well, it is clear enough, and also as mentioned by President El-Sisi, that Egypt adopted new strategies to maximize the economic resources and capabilities, and also, of course, referring to the pivotal role that the private sector will play as well, right?
Yes, of course, there have been calls regarding liberating the Egyptian economy and getting it to a wider perspective and wider future trends. And of course, without private sector, something very important is lacking. So now the main concern is to activate the role of the economic sector, especially not in the economic sector, on the level of the state, yes, but also on the private sector, which is very important step to be taken, because private sector is extremely important in the equation of getting developed.
Well, President Sisi also during his speech actually talked about the safeguarding Egypt's national security, and also talking about the Egyptian borders. So how do you see this political message, especially during this critical period of time where we have many turbulence taking place all around the borders, and of course the current situation as well in Gaza?
Yes, I think that if we look at the previous year, the president and the political leadership in Egypt really was keen to handle all these troubles with a great care and a great precision. There was problems in Libya, but we just used the deterrence rather than getting involved. When the water was threatened in Ethiopia, we insisted on complex diplomacy till we solved and resolved the issue diplomatically, but with also backed by our military power. Our military power is there, and it is being developed greatly, but it is not for misuse. It is for putting red lines and trying to get diplomacy to do the job, backed by our Egyptian armed forces. So I think that the president showed a great deal of wisdom when it came to so many conflicts around us, because we don't want to add problems to the area. We'd like to be part of solution of the greatly exerted efforts towards trying to settle all these disputes, and it is a continuing of efforts till now, and we hope that it will work out, because the troubles are so huge, and the intervention power from outside the area is there, and this needs a great deal of wisdom and a great deal of dealing with all these very complex calculations.
Well, also the president talked about the importance of agriculture and increasing production, and adopting technologies and methods for working more in agriculture in particular, to provide safety for food for the Egyptian citizens as well.
Yes, I think that this is very important domain because Egypt was used to be called an agricultural country, you remember. Uh, so let us revitalize that. The potentiality of getting agriculture growing is extremely important for food security, of course, and the world crisis that really erupted in the last few years showed that there is a problem of food, there is a problem of logistics. The Ukraine-Russian war showed us the problem of logistics for the entire world. Uh, so we have to rely on ourselves and to rely on nearby countries to have strong cooperation. And I think when it comes to agriculture, we mentioned something about in the declaration with the European Union, there is a great deal of cooperation for food security between Egypt and the European Union, especially Italy. So I think we are working hard on this, and the President is very keen to ensure the food security, of course.
So what do we really need, or in other words, when can Egypt depend on local manufacturing programs in boosting foreign currency revenues and creating more and more job opportunities?
Yeah, I think this is a very complicated problem, but there is a great deal of effort being exerted in that direction. And I think there must be some out-of-the-box solutions. I think there must be an emphasis to be put on the small business for energizing a great deal of number of people to get into that business. Small business is a key for success for the international development and for many experiences. Many experiences all over the world, successful ones, I mean, relied on this small business administration in their countries, and they succeeded because of that, because this is takes a great deal of portions from the economic portions.
Well, the state adopted many initiatives to provide social security for Egyptian citizens, whether we are talking about takaful karama or, of course, health issues, or even the health insurance. So how far are these initiatives important? And of course, the president also promised to continue with this to provide all what the Egyptian citizens need in the future.
Yes, I think this is an important dimension in in nourishing the concept of citizenship and nourishing the concept of social responsibility. And I think that working on these important initiatives, which, by the way, were welcomed and hailed by many other countries in the world, and consider that as good initiatives and good experiences. But of course, I think that the need is larger, and the state is working much more on enlarging the scope of these very important and very vital initiatives.
When it comes to the role of youth played so far, and we have seen actually unprecedented achievement in this respect, where the president was very much keen in bringing the youth and talking to them directly and opening for them a new door just for transparent discussions, and also taking benefit and using these youth in many of the leading positions and decision-making positions as well.
Yes, I think this is also another important dimension, because we used to suffer in the past from all the people everywhere and no place for the youth. And I think that once I wrote how to bridge the gap between generation gap crossing is very needed. And I think that we started out, the president started by encouraging this important dimension, because the president himself mentioned several times that more than half of the population are youth. And when it comes to this, it's a great wealth, because we know that there are some European countries and some advanced countries, foreign countries, are suffering from lack of the power of the youth. So I think to use the power of the youth is a very important and very wise step to be taken in enhancing the potentialities of a great nation like Egypt, inshallah.
Well, it is clear that actually we have many challenges during this period. Actually, we're talking about political, economic, different issues taking place all around the world, in addition to the regional challenges taking place as well. So it is quite clear that this period will need the different kinds of responsibilities or different kinds of methods to just be able to confront all these challenges together.
Yes, of course, if you look at the map of interactions, yes, you can find a great challenges waiting for the entire nation of Egypt. And I think that these challenges are very clear in our border. Egypt is keen to establish peace and stability inside Egypt and outside Egypt, in the entire area and in the entire world, actually. And the zero-sum mentality is there in foreign powers playing a lot of games which are based on zero mentality. And I think this has made many wars erupted. Actually, they are not that motivated wars. And there are something wrong happening that increase the challenges for the entire world, not for Egypt only, of course. And I think that from here, the president of Egypt called for reforming, deep reform for the United Nations, to have a powerful international organization to help in managing all these conflicts and anticipate the conflicts. Look, it's very important to know that we need to have crisis management, and we need to have crisis anticipation. We have to anticipate a lot of things before they happen. So we need to work on crisis prevention, anticipation, and the prevention too. And I think the Egyptian foreign policy tries to do a great deal of effort in that direction.
Dr. Hassan Waguih, Professor of Political Science, thank you very much for joining us. Moving on to a short break, then we'll be back.